Bussin'.
Welcome to this.podcast. I'm your friendly host, Jay, joined by my friends. We got Co here.
Man, what we talking about?
And Uncle Damo is out on vacation, but we'll hit his drop.
Hi, my name is Uncle Damo.
Pretty sure them titties is out too.
Oh, yeah, he's in
Titties is out.
out in Mexico. Great weather. It's snowing here right now, but
Yes.
he's out there enjoying himself. He's
Enjoying himself, man.
taking it off. Enjoying himself, for real. Shout out to the incredible Lawrence and Larimer for providing the space and providing these shades. Check me out, y'all. They dope, right? Yeah. I had to wear these shades because our guests that we got, they come fresh to death.
They bright.
They got that swag,
They
man.
bright, man.
Yeah, I knew it was
Bright,
going.
man.
I had to step my game up.
Man, listen, man. When the light is shining, man, shit. You know, you gotta throw the shades on.
Got to throw the shades on.
Throw the shades on.
So that's the kind of vibe we got. But shout out to the incredible Lawrence and Larimer for providing the space. You can catch them at lawrenceandlarimer.com, or you can go to, I'm almost getting there, please. Keys talking about the discount. I got you. Or you can go to the brick and mortar 3225 East Colfax Avenue and cop your latest swag. And if you use the discount code this dot, how much do you get off, Key? 10%. Like, she looked at me like,
Man, listen.
10%. You know why? It used to be like 40. Oh, wasn't?
Man,
now people
I've
coming
been
out the
telling people-
woodworks.
Listen.
Yeah.
I've been telling people it's 99.999.
Yeah.
Hey, man, John gives me the ugliest look too.
But people starting to come out, so she's like, that percentage is getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
Man, but real talk, I think we was at 20 at one point. At one
That's what
time
it
we was
felt
at
like.
20.
We had 20, 15.
Now we at 10.
Now we at 10.
Tax.
That's good.
Tax. We had tax, but
There we
hey,
go.
we love it.
Let's get right into it, y'all. We got two beautiful guests, some Denverites. Does that sound right, Co? Like when we say Denverites? Like, I'm not part of that school. It was just like,
Man,
they
Denver
was from
stars,
around the way.
Man, stars.
Stars shining
Stars,
bright. We got
stars.
Chris Christmas and Michelle Trail. Let me give them a round of applause. Yeah. In the building. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
We feeling good.
You feeling good? Y'all looking good.
Thanks,
Look
my
at
brother.
this, man. What is this ensemble that you got on, man? Explain it to the people what you rocking with.
It's the Western Indigenous Native Couture, visualization of a lot of shit that comes from our history.
I like it. I like
Couture.
it. Look at that. Fresh, too. All the way down to the shoes, man.
Come on, yo.
Come on. I peep it. Yeah. What about you, Michelle? Look at them boots.
Just
Them
going.
red bottoms, them new style, right? I feel you.
Yeah.
I didn't pull out the red bottoms today. I went with my Western chic vibe, which is what we representing. A little Colorado, a little Western, a little fly.
I got you. Yeah. So since y'all are Denverites, we got to shout out the neighborhoods and talk a little bit about the upbringing. So Co and I know Michelle personally because we, Co went to high school with you out in Montbello, and I'm kind of by the way of Co, so I would always be in Montbello, checking out the vibes, and that's the hood you represent, the Bellows.
All day, every day.
Give it a shout out, huh?
Shout out to the Bellows.
Man, what's your block, man? What's your block?
47th. I'm right across the street from the high school. We went
See.
there for lunch.
See?
Nice. It was like lunchtime. Let's go right to Michelle's house.
Yes,
hang
and my
out.
sister would make us lunch.
What kind of lunch was y'all eating? Like,
Grilled cheese sandwiches with sliced pickles.
come on, man. Yeah.
Fresh fries,
Yeah.
a little turkey burgers.
Man, let's talk about the real lunch, though. Let's talk about the real lunch,
What's
man.
that,
In
the real
97,
lunch?
man, yo, they were getting margaritas at a young age, man. Virgin margaritas? Was they virgin?
Senior Ricks and Garcias.
Shout out to
America,
Senior Rick.
Doretha,
In high school? Nah.
Jason,
Really?
Tuesday.
That's what they was doing.
Okay.
I was going to Ho-Ho's.
Dollar
Dollar
Scoop.
Scoop. I was going to Dollar Scoop. They going to Senior
I
Ricks and
couldn't
shit.
fool with the
Come on,
dollar
man.
scoop, but we were hitting full Senior Ricks.
There we go.
We were getting ready for
Fancy early.
introduction.
Shout out to Senior
Fancy
Ricks.
early.
Chris, you from all over, man. You represent all of Colorado, man. So tell us tell us what's at heart though. Like what hood are you representing?
You know, I'm a omnipresent Coloradan.
Sticking true to it. That's what I'm talking about.
And my history is threaded through several different layers of indigenous roots within this fabric of this town.
Yeah,
got it.
In the state, and the ancestors have been revisiting me and reminding me of why we have to claim our legacy now.
That's what's up.
And how to tell that story. So
you were telling me, like, before we started podding, you were like, yo, I got connections in North Glen, up to Steamboat, of course, in the city, out to all kind of places, man. Yeah. So where do you want to start?
I mean, shout outs to, first of all, the original gods of Colorado, which were the natives. And oftentimes their history is shrouded in hypocrisy. And so me and Michelle have come together to tell an untold story about the blacks that come from native blood.
Got it. So let's dive into that one. So when you say native blood, like,
so there was
you talking about tribes?
There was a group of tribes that came from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And we often don't understand the difference between the Trail of Tears, which was a trail that they rounded up all the natives of America and they had them all corralled into Oklahoma.
Got it.
That trail was led and joined by African American slaves that were joined with these native tribes that ended up in Oklahoma. These black tribes were full members of these tribes because the natives didn't have like the formal protocols of how we look at you becoming a native and you becoming a citizen. They joined these tribes and had full membership into these tribes. And so when Emancipation and Proclamation came about and the Oklahoma Territory was dismantled, which means all of the tribes that were natives were sent off to reservations.
So real quick, can you tell the listeners, like, what time period are we talking about?
This is Emancipation and Proclamation,
which was
1856, 1865, of that period of time of when the Oklahoma Territory was being dismantled and blacks were given quote-unquote land for separating from native tribes. So they sent the natives over to the reservations, and blacks that were with those natives were told that if you claim to have native blood in you, you're going to be sent to the reservation. Or here's some land. So we don't understand how the Tulsa, Oklahoma Wall Street came about. Tulsa, Oklahoma Wall Street came about because these landowners that had amassed land from the Oklahoma Territory that were from native tribe had amassed wealth.
Okay.
And whites were really upset that the government of America had empowered these black natives to have this land. So they made their money. There was no like Wall Street as we think of a ticker on Wall Street.
Right.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit. And some people don't understand the difference. These were landowners.
Right.
Yep. They amassed a lot of wealth.
Right. It's not what you see today as far as like investing in stocks.
Yeah, there was no ticker.
Companies,
there was no exchange.
Public trading.
So there was these families that came from native tribes that amassed wealth.
Black families that came from native tribes.
Yep. And they burnt it down. So when they burnt it down, where did they go? They came to Denver.
Got it. So they made that migration up north.
So we have a direct.
This was the most safest land for these blacks to come without worrying about their land being seized or their lives being at stake, because in Colorado, this was technically a progressive state, right?
So original blacks that migrated to Colorado have a direct connection to Black Wall Street. Is that what we're saying?
Correct. As closest as probably any other group of people in the country, because Denver was the most closest proximity to domicile outside of Tulsa without the work, without being tracked down by the Klansmen, right? And so once you got out of Oklahoma, right, and if you look at where Oklahoma, in that corner of where New Mexico and Oklahoma, this was the most urban area because we had 5 Points. We had the Union Station. So Union Station and the what we call the stock show, they were both commerce where cowboys could work. So if I was a cowboy in Oklahoma,
I'm gonna have you talking to them.
I could come to Colorado and I could work at the stock show, right? Because I'm a cowboy, right? And also 5 Points was a great place where culture met, and there were black cowboys all a part of 5 Points. So it wasn't just jazz. And I always think of 5 Points as jazz. And that's how we associate with 5 Points, jazz. That's not true. It was a lot of black cowboys during that time, a part of the culture. And so what we're saying is I represent black native, but I've been riding horses my whole life. I can ride a horse like I can ride a bicycle, right? And so, but I ride Appaloosas, which are Native American horses. Got it. Right.
So real quick, I want to stop you because you're giving us great content, and I like where you're going. Like
I'm sorry, I talk way too
much. No, you're good. You're good. It's great that you're doing this because you out here spitting facts, and this is what people need to know, and that's what this show is all about.
No shout outs to the gods. Yep.
Absolutely. And let's kind of not turn, but stay where you're at as far as, black cowboys and black West.
Yep.
Tell us like your passion and the roots that you have ingrained in Black West and black cowboys, and why you're so passionate about it.
Well, if you read a book called If the Creek Don't Rise by Rita Williams, my birth mother, that wrote a book about our family that helped found Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Here we go.
My great-great-uncle was the last living soldier in the Civil War and owned the largest ranch, one of the largest ranches in America in the late 1890s. And it's the story of blacks of the West and the heritage of our lineage and our family. And I'm taking that heritage with the descendants of these people like Big John, Don Cheadle, Philip Bailey, Pam Grier, Chauncey Billups, Troy Lindsay, and telling how unique and JC. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Look at it. Look at this talent. I've been knowing this boy since he was a young lad. Yeah. And I've been watching JC come up his whole time. JC always been super talented. He is the definition of talent. And oftentimes JC goes over people's heads. And a lot of times blacks that from Denver, we be going over people's heads and nobody knows it.
Oh, so yeah, man. When JC would come in there wearing cummerbunds and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He was totally over my head.
He goes over heads.
I told you, man. Styling and profile.
With purple cummerbunds and shit.
Right?
That's JC.
But sometimes, pressure busts pipes. Right?
Absolutely.
But pressure also creates diamonds.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so living in this kind of town with the way our city is set up, it's very difficult for blacks to make it.
Yeah.
And it's not set up for us to succeed.
Wait. So let's stay there. So make it in what terms, though?
All terms.
Okay. Let's stay there. So are we saying in the entertainment, cultural lane, or just period?
Period.
Okay.
Just period?
Yeah. This is the Mecca for the white man.
And you're talking about Denver specifically, right? So
Colorado specifically.
Okay.
So like all my friends on the East Coast are always amazed that I live in Colorado. So if I tell my friends in Miami I live in Colorado, they're like, "What? I can't believe you live in Colorado. How do you have the ability to live in Colorado? You can't be from Colorado.
Yeah.
Now, I can be from New York.
Yeah.
Right.
They can accept that.
Yeah.
But Colorado? Oh no. Because that's they're like, you can't, so their implicit bias is you don't have that right.
To live there.
Right. That's our right. Aspen Vale, you hang out in Aspen and Vale. I've been hanging out in Aspen and Vale since I was a kid.
Yep.
Straight up.
So how is your work? So let's stay there. So how is the work that you're doing bridging the gap?
Well, we're bringing two worlds together.
Okay. Let's go.
Right. We're bringing the past and we're bringing the future. And we're telling people that blacks won the West.
Okay.
And that there's a history that's untold. And there's a way that we're going to tell the story through fashion, through music, through film, through home design that tells the truth.
Wow.
Because what does the Bible say about the truth? It'll set you free.
Set you free.
It does.
And so we've been in bondage.
Absolutely. So I'm curious,
Straight
like,
up,
so
we've been in bondage in this town, and I see it in black youth all the time because they're like, "Yo," and what keeps me alive is I do live in Miami, I do work in Wynwood, I do work in the design capital of the world right now, which is Wynwood. So what I'm taking in is the best of the best.
So give us an example of, like, when you say through these different avenues, and I'm interested in, home design. I think you threw that in there. What does that vision look like?
We're doing sustainable and regenerative housing, and we're building kind of regenerative communities that use sustainability and sharing of sustainable resources to create what I call modern black settlements. So in Colorado, we had Deerfield, Colorado, and we had Lincoln Hills. Okay. Deerfield, Colorado was a black settlement of ranchers and farmers.
And where is that at today?
That was north of Greeley.
Okay.
And then Lincoln Hills, which a close friend that I know of their family, they own Lincoln Hills, okay? And Lincoln Hills was the first black resort in the West. And it's where all blacks that would come to 5 Points would be able to go up to the Black Hills of Lincoln Hills, and there was a spa there. And it was a world-class spa. And a lot of the families, including my families, were members of Lincoln Hills.
So like that upper class kind of luxury? Is that what you...
I would call it, Denver has a black educated class. I wouldn't call us bougie. Like I'm very connected to the bourgeoisie class of Harlem. And it's not the same of the educated class of Denver.
What's the difference?
Denver was more about education as the wealth versus New York was more about art, entertainment, and celebrity that kind of made the bourgeoisie class.
Okay.
So here in Denver, we once had the highest educated black class in all of America.
That's a fact.
Okay. And so we were always taught growing up in Denver, education is first. And when we were always growing up, a lot of kids that went to DPS went to HBCUs. There was a significant population that went to HBCUs. Shout out to
Michelle. Shout out your HBCU.
Oakwood University.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What did you say?
And I was the baccalaureate speaker for the university in 2008. So there's a huge historical black college presence in Denver. There always has. There's the Denver Owls, which Condoleezza Rice. Most people don't know Condoleezza Rice family used to go to our church back and forth. And when Condoleezza was living in Denver, she's a Denver Owl. Okay.
Got it.
Her father taught at DU with Dr. Gelano, and Dr. Gelano was very close to me and Michelle's family growing up.
So Miss Rice went to a HBCU?
No, she went to high school in Denver.
Right. Yeah. And then she went to DU.
Yeah, but her father taught at DU, and she was a Denver Owl, which was like the debutantes of Denver.
Got it.
So we don't know that Condoleezza was a Denver Owl.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we have a rich history.
Absolutely.
Of successful.
Exactly. Educated
blacks.
That's what I'm saying. And it's untold. And then when you always talk about the Crips and the Bloods and, how they've infiltrated, the culture of Denver, and now they dominate young black males, that's a problem. And for me, literally, I knew the founders of both the Crips and the Bloods. I'm 55.
Yeah.
So just think about my age.
Yeah.
So all you got to know is take my age and go back to when the Crips and the Bloods start, and you understand I was friends with both of them.
So for the Crips, it was Mike, wasn't it?
It was before Mike. It was Delbert. Delbert was actually before Mike Alsaberry.
Okay.
And then Antoine, a.k.a. Trey, He was one of the founders with all those crazy boys over there. And so I was always trying to fight the gangs to stop killing. I was never repping the gangs. I was never repping. I was down with the Fishers. I was always cool with the families.
You were down with the Fishers,
always. Huh? They're my cousins.
Shout out to Rosanna.
They're my actual family.
Yeah, Ricky.
I didn't know Jason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know Jason.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, yes.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Well,
yes,
Chris,
for real.
Chris, you definitely have a rich history, and you know a lot about Colorado in general. I want to focus on Michelle a little bit of like,
I talk too much.
No, you're good, man. That's why you're here. That's why you're here.
No,
You're fine, man.
This is exactly what
like we need that.
This is exactly what we need.
Yeah, we need that knowledge, and
he's fourth generation.
Yeah, so no, you're fine. But Michelle, let's dive into you a little bit, and talk about some of the awesome things, because you're kind of from this pool of that Chris is referring to, as far as definitely black, educated, well paid, I will say, and you're doing some awesome things. Let's talk about kind of your involvement with, if you don't mind,
whichever way we want to go.
What you have going on with the trillionaires, trailionaires. Sorry, trailionaires, y'all get that right. And talk about that movement and where you see the vision for that.
Yeah, so Trailionaires and Chris Christmas. Trailionaires is an owner, managing partner of Chris Christmas Colorado. Trailionaires is founded by me and based off my last name when I got married like over 15 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just really a play on the vision, like whatever we want in this life, we got to manifest. So for me, it was billionaire, trillionaire, millionaire, just mindset. Trillionaire, just a play.
Blazing really the trail too. I like it. It's
blazing the trail,
play on words.
Trailblazer, everything, right? Yeah. So really the mindset was taking whatever people do and making it greater. Trailionaires is here to help execute, monetize, all those different areas. And so it's a boutique advisory firm. And my day-to-day deal closing is what I do. So Trailionaires is really here to take something and make it excellent. You got to already be great for it to get involved.
Got it.
Excellence is just the tip over.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You got to be great. So that's why.
Be great, man.
It's like the
we trying to get
requirement.
there. We haven't made that circle yet.
Elicit, like we've been trying to elicit some.
She ain't reached out for some reason. Like we great up here.
Whatever, y'all here.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but that's really it. Just taking something and really taking it to that next level. And so with Chris Christmas Colorado, it was really just seeing like the vision and having the passion for the same type of thing, right? Seeing our people, seeing the stories needing to be told, being able to take something that's history and fashion and creative and beautiful and turning it into a business. Why can't we monetize like everybody else? Why can't we be a $100 million company? There's no reason for that.
You got to have the vision to do that, right? Go ahead.
What did you see in Chris Christmas Colorado that made you say, like, look, our company at Trailionaires can take this to the next level?
Well, first off, the why was huge, right? Chris has known me my entire life. My dad is like his big bro, right? So he's my big bro. Yeah. It was really about the fact that what Chris didn't say is that he was in foster care, adopted at 2 by the Christmas family. So when he talks about the book that his birth mom, Rita Williams, wrote, he didn't talk about his father, Otis Taylor, but all these fantastic the genes that he has running through that he found out about later, it was nature versus nurture. So there was just like this innate conversation that he's been having with himself his entire life. And once he put those pieces together, and then we sat down and talked about what he was trying to do, it's like, okay, this is already something that I'm pulled into. We took a 30-minute to 60-minute meeting, turned it into 4 hours. And it's like, okay, when you get that pulled into something, something's there. And it's like, okay, this is what we do. We will be the diversity and inclusion platform for the state of Colorado. We will take history, and instead of you now just having to check a box, now you get to write a check to be a part of what we're doing, so you can look dope while doing it.
Man, so I think for me, you know, when I look at you guys, I look at the vision and the execution, you know, and this is awesome. You know what I mean? To have two people of color come together with a vision, and then you always have to have that person that's next to you that can make that vision happen, and that's how Trillionaires connects with Chris Christmas Colorado.
Well, I believe in bosses, you know, like
hey,
I'm talking about lady bosses.
Oh yeah,
like,
she bossed up now.
And so we often, in our community, especially like in hip hop, with kind of the misogyny that comes in hip hop, we always think that, you know, we have to demonize and we have to subjugate women to roles that often aren't good for them. And so Michelle's a boss. And so for me, it was easy because I feel like I've been watching her since she was born become who she is.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm kind of like one of the OGs of OGs because I've seen multiple generations grow up in this town.
Yeah.
And so you're able to see the stars emerge generationally. And so Michelle's at a point where, again, she's ready to boss up. And so what I always teach us is self-independence.
Yeah.
I come from the Marcus Garvey school of self-independence, and I believe completely in self-independence. So we're building sustainable communities that we can take care of shit ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to, at some point, start letting education, innovation, and change come together with purpose.
And the thing about it is, Michelle, you're such a servant leader. Like you have this innate skill to walk alongside people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you are such a boss. You are so forward thinking. You are so supportive, and you make people feel like you just have this innate way to make people feel comfortable, right? It's not like you're like dictating to people about shit they need to do, right?
Oh, no, she'll do that. Don't get it.
But you do it. But you do it.
No, absolutely.
But you do it in a supportive way.
Always.
But now here's the thing.
You're right,
she could be
you're right.
an authoritarian, right? You could be an authoritarian, but you figured out a way to, you know, get the best out of people in a certain way that makes people feel supported, that makes people want to actually get up and actually do. And that is awesome, man. And that's why I see this happening. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I think from the perspective of leading the way you want to follow. I mean, because we all have that time when we are looking up to something, looking forward to something, you know. And so just being, you know, being that example of what works for you. So for me, from a day-to-day corporate world, it's like people want to trust you, they want to like you, they want to feel comfortable before they spin or before you start trying to guide them down a way. And so honestly, it's just a part of like daily.
No, you speaking facts right there. Yeah. You know, it does. Because the way you described it is like sometimes you gotta be a soldier in order to lead, right? Like you gotta learn how to lead. Like that takes time. You know, Some people, you know, there's a small percentage that might be natural at it, you know, in certain situations. But to do it effectively like you is like, no, you went through learning that, and now you know how to apply it, and you know the kind of leader that you would like to work for. So that's the kind of leader you now represent. So keep doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to know how we get on the greatness list. Where's this list at?
Yo, but I want to shift a little bit to the fashion side of Chris Christmas Colorado, and how what you guys' vision is in terms of trying to get people to connect to the western side of the culture here in Colorado. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get the 17-year-old kid out of the Bellows, Park Hill, to actually embrace this Western chic style?
You got to come from the streets.
and
You know, the
before-
streets always make fashion work, right?
That's true.
So-
and consistency
Yeah.
and just something that people want to be a part of. Chris has a long-standing history, right? A fashion designer here. So from the early Ralph Lauren days to Hype to the Colorado logo that we all rock and love, he was the remix to that. So
Got it.
just figuring out, like you said, connecting with the culture, the hip hop, finding a little bit of a mix. Like you were saying, oh, when I'm gonna rock to the next event. I'm like, listen, I mean, there's like pieces and components you could take in. You don't have to have, I mean, Chris is this, regardless, his whole time.
Yeah.
He always
Look how fresh he
he
looks.
being like
I'm a
this.
brand. I'm rocking my
Exactly.
brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I shout outs to JC again. I say this again because we come out of the Western chic world of where fashion and Western culture collides. So if you think of Denver, Aspenvale, Telluride, the National Western Stock Show, and why Colorado is like at the epicenter of the country, is that there's a culture that comes from here, and we call it Western chic. And it's this kind of organic fusion of indigenous Western looks with modernism that defines kind of success, right? It's like, you know, instead of me trying to be like in New York or DC or Philly or Atlanta, why? We got a rich culture here.
Yo, and it's funny you say that
crazy.
because we talked to Kayla Ray about how do we build culture here in Colorado, right? And she talked about how Colorado does not have its thing, right? Like you know, New York has its thing, Miami has its thing,
Right.
Atlanta has its thing, Chicago has its thing, LA has its thing. So is Western chic something that Colorado needs to like attach to say, this is our shit?
That's what we're establishing. We're basically saying, as an example, and if you didn't know this, I worked for Shaq 7 years of my life. I was head of basketball at Reebok. I was a brand manager at basketball at Reebok. I built 2 or 3 brands for Shaquille. I helped launch the House of Darion for Beyonce. I've worked with Viacom, Warner Brothers. I've consulted for many brands. Coors Light, I worked for Coors Light for 6 years. I established urban marketing for Coors Light. I was a Democratic National Convention designer for the DNC, here for the DNC, and I actually did work with Obama and had a close interaction. I helped launch Jill Scott's record. I was the creative director for Hidden Beach Records on the launch
She's
of
so
Jill
fine,
Scott's
ain't
album.
She's so fine, Jill Scott.
And so,
Look at all those shots, man. Yeah,
no,
get them out.
I mean, you
Get 'em out,
just
man.
No,
You-
but-
you-
silverback gorilla
Man, just
flexing.
name dropping.
Sometimes
He up here like the game, like, yo, I
Credentializing
did
the
Hey,
Kanye, man.
I am Joe.
Kim Kardashian, I did all her shit, man. Look
yeah,
at her today.
yeah.
Like, this is what I do.
Yeah,
But for real,
I
for
am
real.
a Joe Black of this shit.
But for real, how?
But it's important because the reason I say that is because I've worked on international and national projects.
Right.
And there's no reason we can't hold down our home court. This
So
is
I'm
our home court.
No, absolutely.
We got to, like JC's holding court. So you got to hold court. Holding court is real. It has to be original. Again, I fucks with niggas in New York. I fucks with niggas in LA.
Right.
But the last thing I'm trying to do is be like them.
Yeah.
The last thing. So when I step up, when I come to the table, they looking at me like, yo, Chris, you always rock a brand we never heard of. You always got something that we never knew about, right? And you talking about something we didn't know about.
Exactly.
Man, listen, man, I can
Just
imagine.
regenerating what they heard. So our value is what we bring to the table from the Mile High.
Yeah.
Western
Right?
chic.
That is original.
Western chic.
And so we got original cats. Again, my dude, JC's original. You don't need to tell him how to be original. He already is.
That's what's up, man.
And Courtney, to answer your question, the way you get them on board
That's
is to
what's-
get
go ahead.
them to identify with something that they could be proud of. They
Exactly.
did not know about this story, right? All those other places that you mentioned, they have a history. They have a story. Where the hell is ours, and where has it been all this time? It hasn't been nowhere, but we just about to tell it right now.
Because it hasn't been told.
It hasn't been told. So that's the difference of everything else, is telling a story that hasn't been told, getting you to identify with something so you could be clear about who you are, where you're going. All these things continue to be very critical for our young people. So a 17-year-old, got my nephew graduating next Friday. All of them are fashion. My brother was his first logo for his company, sister's fashion design. They all have these skills. I saw, like your son, designing, but then like, how do you match that with this rich history?
How do you manifest
this
that?
Huge platform that all these people that we see on TV come out of Colorado and nobody even knew that.
So you hit the nail on the head. Like, and you don't have to go into specifics, but like, what does that look like when, what's the vision of like, because you're going to have to work with the younger generation because they usually, set the trends of like, hey, have you been thinking about this? Let's talk about that history a little bit.
Curriculum.
Let's promote it.
Yeah, the 3 outputs: curriculum, tabletop book, docuseries.
Okay.
Those are the outputs. So curriculum of these stories, which there's this dope book that's going to be, with the tabletop, the vision for there. The people don't even realize how many Black cowboys have come out of Colorado. So if you get that, you flip it over to what's on the national scale, and that's something that really isn't a rewrite, right? It's like a part of history that's just got left out, got wiped out, left out, forgotten, now put in the middle school, high school, collegiate levels. That's matching their level of being able to, process, right? So you get, but then just like the dopeness of it is like not traditional learning, right? Because there's still the fashion component that you pull into it. So
the art side, right?
Exactly.
The streets.
That's
like,
the stuff that
how do you tap into
that
that?
we do is combining all of them together, so it's more palatable, more attractive, something that now just hits in a whole new way. It hits different. It hits completely different.
So here's my question to Chris. Can I match the Jordan 3s with the Western chic?
Of course.
There you go.
Paint the picture for me. Please paint the picture for me.
We take Western stitching. We take native prints, and we mold that into the upper design to create an original Western chic Jordan classic.
That is dope, man. That's dope.
I'm a remixologist, and so if you really check my career, I've done a lot of footwear projects. Yeah. And what we're doing is...
So is that a thing, though? Like, is that real? Like, did you just come off the top with that, or are you actually putting
I can
the
show
Jordan
you
out?
on the computer that I have joints right now that will reflect what I just described.
All right. We'll put it up on the pod, like a little small picture of like what that looks like.
So we're doing a collaboration with Rockmont. Rockmont is the oldest Western brand in the history of Western wear. They created the Western shirt and the Western snaps, and they're on 18th and Wazee. Okay. Shout outs to Steve Well. And what we're doing is we're working with legacy brands in the West. Yeah. And what we're trying to do, I always tell people that I used to grow up with a lot of racists. And I went to all white high school, Northglenn. Yeah. And so when I went to high school there, we even had a rodeo team on our high school.
Really?
Straight ass rodeo team. We had a rodeo team on our high school. So that should tell you.
That's whitey.
Yeah. You got to imagine back in that time.
Wiggity white. You got a rodeo team.
And I was friends with the Cowboys. Right. Yeah. Right? Because I used to ride their horses. Yeah. And all of my friends was like, yo, dude, even like my white friends would be like, why do you hang out with cowboys? Yeah. Why do you hang out with jocks? Why do you hang out with stoners? Why do you hang out with the Mexicans?
Because I am one. What are you talking about?
And I'm a cultural ambassador, right? Yeah. And what I mean by that is we in Colorado have to embrace working with white people. Yeah. Or you're not going to get nowhere. Yeah. I'm just telling you straight up. Yeah. And so what we're doing, me and Michelle, is we're bridging some of the most racist people that have these ideas about what they think Colorado is. Mm-hmm. And we're showing them a different Colorado. Not to embarrass them, not to chastise them, but to celebrate the inclusiveness of Colorado And so I used to always tell people, I really know how to work with racists. And we're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the Lord told us that to get into the kingdom of heaven, you got to love your enemy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what does that mean? I got to love my enemy to get into the kingdom of heaven. Like, yo, bro, you better learn how to love someone that hates you.
Yeah.
So
Before
if
you can
stay
know
there,
who God
but if you
is.
stay there, so like, what is your
that's
goal?
what we're doing. We're bringing our brand strategy together so that I know there's a lot of people that think cowboy is just some straight up racist shit. So they don't mess with it, right? But the
wait.
truth is, Black Native culture is very much a cowboy culture. So we're trying to bring that's why we're at the Clayton Hotel. We're trying to bring like blue blood, wealthy, people that might have some viewpoints that are not really progressive. And we're bringing our community together, and they're really enjoying it, Michelle, right?
Yes, and we're calling it Colorado inclusiveness. And what was your question? You said,
Well, I was going to ask, like, what is because when you say you're working with racists, like, what is your ultimate, I just want to dive into it and kind of get your message out of, like, the purpose of, like, working with these racists.
Well, I'm
is
from
not
out
only
of the Martin
money.
Luther King School.
Got it.
I definitely come from.
But are you saying you want to change hearts?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Got it. I
And the
just wanna
only
make
way
sure
you
get
do it
that
is
out.
you have to have a common language.
Got it.
And Western culture and cowboy culture is where you do it. It's the language that you can bring them together.
Okay.
Because it's the animals, it's the prints, and so it's not like Black Lives Matter and I'm out to kill you and I'm out to do this and I'm out to and shout outs to the BLM crew and everything they've done. No disrespect, but from growing up in North Glen, and being around people that I knew could possibly kill me,
Yeah.
I had to be a diplomat.
Yeah.
And so what I've always learned is bringing people together
But so is there
is
any
better than
pushback?
separating them together.
But so is there any pushback when you say the black man was the original cowboy?
Not at all.
Really?
Where did the word come from? The word itself is from black people,
Cowboy.
because what you would describe a boy was a derogatory term. So there was ranch boys, house boys, field boy, and every kind of boy.
Okay.
You would not describe a black man as a man. He was a boy.
Okay.
Cattlemen and ranchers are what you called white men. Cowboys were slaves that herded cattle.
Ooh.
Talk to him.
Talk to
to him.
Talk to him.
Stop following me up, man. Talk to him. I got my ad lib over here.
We
He's my man.
started
What's wrong
so
with having
much.
an ad lib when you're a team? Boy, you
once
double
again,
down.
how many
I know,
times
but I
we
don't be
started
ad-libbing for
something?
you.
How many times we start
You
something
should
and
be.
never get credit for? How many
It's called
times?
support, baby.
Every day, right? And we as a people got to say enough is enough. And what we're telling Governor Polis, what we're telling the Aspen Ski Company, what we're telling the Western Stock Show, what we're telling all these people is like, I don't have to prove that I'm Black Native.
Right.
I don't have to prove that I have to prove I'm a Black cowboy. I am what I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And therefore, in turn, I'm inheriting what has been inherited to us. And so people talk about correct appropriation with Native Americans as if Black people have no connection to natives.
Yeah.
And that's the shit we're really trying to stop.
Yeah, man. So what made Native Americans? So what was the connector between Native Americans and Black slaves?
Several slaves escaped slavery and joined Native tribes.
Yep.
And the white men would not tell how many numbers and significant it was happening because the Native tribes would accept Blacks as full members of the tribes. So if you were a slave, how the hell are you going to try to get to Canada? When all you got to do is get to the Seminoles, okay?
Okay.
All you got to do is get to the Seminoles, right?
They offer
Okay, so if I'm
protection.
in Florida, right, and I'm at a white plantation, everybody's like, get to the Seminoles and you'll be free.
Yeah.
So they tried to deny how many Blacks actually escaped slavery and joined Native tribes.
But so what was the tribe in the West that provided
There were several.
refuge?
There was the Apache, the Cherokee. The
Cheyenne.
Cherokee has the highest African American population of all tribes, Cherokee. However, in Colorado, I'm from Choctaw. Wayne Vaden, if you know who Wayne Vaden is, he's from Choctaw, right? So we have an allegiance, we have a group of, we have Blackfoot.
Okay, a lot of the tribes from Oklahoma are Blackfoot. Okay. So all tribes ended up in Oklahoma. You know this. All tribes from the Northeast, the South, they all ended up in Oklahoma. And then black slaves joined the trail. And they were not allowed to be apprehended by slave owners when they joined the trail.
Why?
Because the government of America protected the natives. Said that we're not going to seize you if you walk this trail to Oklahoma.
So you're talking about a physical trail?
Yeah,
like if you
the
made
Trail
it
of
to that
Tears.
trail.
The Trail of
Google
Tears.
the Trail of Tears.
No.
Is that the Trail of Tears?
Yeah,
I know
it's the Trail of Tears.
history. I know the history of the Trail of
Trail of
Tears.
Tears.
Nice, Cole.
Yeah, it's the Trail of Tears.
Trail of Tears.
And so that trail was how everyone got to Oklahoma. All tribes.
Got it. No, that's dope.
And we were a part of that trail.
So, kind of bringing it back to the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
We're in summertime, right? We're approaching summer. What's Western chic summer?
It's prints, patterns, and motifs.
I gotta
that
have you
represent
talking to the mic.
Oh, the prints,
You
patterns.
can move that towards you if
Yeah,
you want
Yeah,
to.
please.
Print, I, you know me. Prints, patterns, and motifs that represent the lifestyle. So we're taking all the native prints from all the tribes, and we're doing Western shirts with Rockmont, and we're doing long Western shirts for women with fringes, and we're doing just real funky looking Western stuff that's very streety.
Is it bright color? Is it bright colors?
It's how we look.
Right now?
Yep.
All right.
We're colorful.
Are you gonna come out with like T-shirts and stuff?
We got all kind of shit. We got blankets, we got furniture, we got
Okay.
jewelry, we got sneakers.
Because
we
I'm
got
more of a
Western
like.
hats. We got truckers. We got stupid hoodies. So
There you go. Now
yeah.
you're talking about language. Like I'm a hoodie guy. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
We got
If you
kind
get
of
out there,
variations of
yeah,
hoodies.
absolutely. I'm on there.
Exactly.
So
Scarves. We do a lot of scarves. I wear scarves. And then we're doing like bead work.
Okay.
The bead work. The bolos. These are bolos.
Okay.
Western bolos.
No, fam, for real. Like I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah.
That print, that scarf. That's
So if
gonna
you know,
really
it's like
look nice.
there's like a movement. Like you have the Concrete Cowboy movie that was done with Elvis.
I seen that. that.
Then you have the Compton Cowboys. You guys check them out.
I haven't
know
seen.
who that
I've
is.
seen Concrete
So
Cowboy. though.
Compton Cowboys
You
is
seen
a group
Concrete?
of black
Is it-
cowboys. Black cowboys run all through L.A. They do all kind of events.
Nice.
And then shout outs to Lou Vasson. Do you guys know who he was? He was the founder of the Bill Pickett Rodeo here in Denver.
Wow.
So he died about 4 years ago of cancer, but he actually founded the black rodeo, the Bill Pickett Rodeo, and ran that for many years.
Man, yo, but so how do you get a urban kid into
How do you get Cole?
off the
into it?
Gucci belt?
No, wait, hold
to a
up, Cole.
nice-
How you gonna get into it? Like, I want to know what needs.
Man, I'm getting that trucker.
Yeah, exactly.
that trucker.
Getting that trucker.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
We got something for
truck.
everybody.
Cut off jean shorts.
We got
I'm,
something
getting
for
that.
everybody.
I'm
He
bringing the
looked like
thigh.
that.
I'm bringing the thighs out.
With his Timbos.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out
he
to
bringing
Clint
it back.
Coley. I'm bringing the thighs out.
Yeah. he already been working on his fit.
Hoochie what?
He been doing a lot of CrossFit, so he ready to show the
Hoochie
thighs.
Daddy. I'm going Hoochie Daddy Western Chic.
So we're gonna do this thing called the Christmas powwow. We're gonna do a powwow. You ever been to a powwow?
Nah.
You should go. Indian powwow.
Nah, man. But are they gonna have Hoochie Daddy custom?
What's the Hoochie Daddy?
Man, it's
Like a
shorts
fanny
with
pack?
the thighs out. No, see.
No, see, I'm
Shout-
asking.
I don't
Shout
even
out
know
to-
about
shout
shit
out.
Gucci Daddy. See,
Nah.
don't either,
So
man.
so
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
tell you.
I
I'm gonna
feel
tell you.
old.
I'm gonna tell you. One of our previous guests, Clint Coley. He
I like
talked
that, though,
about
'cause you seem
we're
like a-
pulling up. We're pulling up on Hoochie Daddy.
Your style seems like
Season.
Hoochie. I like that.
What with A Solo boots and
I don't know. I'm just saying. I
okay.
like
Well,
Hoochie.
well, I'm just.
Hey, y'all
letting you
heard
know.
of VF
The
Corp?
thighs gonna
Have
be
y'all heard
out.
of
The
VF
thighs gonna
Corp?
be out this summer.
Via what?
VF Corp. This is a great example of black people in Denver not knowing anything that's going on corporately. Have you heard of VF Corp?
No,
I have none.
Exactly.
What's it
So VF Corp is a $54 billion company right here in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they own?
What they own?
Supreme,
Okay.
North Face,
Got it.
Vans,
Got it. About everything you can think of, almost, huh?
Okay.
and we ain't doing no business with them.
And that's the goal.
What as the
Black
as
entrepreneurs in this
people?
town,
As a black
media,
company.
black and anything. And this is what the problem is of living in Denver.
How do we get them on the pod?
We don't know what's really popping here.
Question.
Right? we don't really know that a $54 billion brand
It's right here.
is here, and no one's holding them accountable.
Well, I mean,
No
that's
one's
the
saying,
vision,
where's your
right?
diversity
That's
and
the
inclusion?
vision.
That's what
That's really-
Boss Trail's putting it together.
That's the
And
vision,
so-
right? Every company that chose to do revenue here, right? You
Right.
host your business. This is where you make your money, you house it. We believe they should be doing substantial and significant business with Black-owned companies. That's
There you
your
go.
that's our version of diversity and inclusion. It's
But here they
not-
don't have to do that.
Who?
No, I'm saying, but the issue is here in Denver, Colorado, they're not forced
Right.
to come to the table
Exactly. Got
amongst
Exactly.
black
Are they-
people to do that.
Are they
No
forced in other
accountability.
places?
No accountability.
Well, yeah. Like in certain other cities, you have to come to the African American community in some way in
There's
order to
Buy
get your
Black,
brand pushed.
Procure Black. There's all kinds
Got
of
it.
Some way,
programs
some
that
way.
In
exist.
some way, yeah, in some way.
Yeah.
I got you.
But my point was, I said, did you heard of VF Corp?
Yep, we have.
Because they've been under the radar.
That's crazy.
And so what me and Michelle are doing is saying enough is enough.
We're gonna start reaching out,
Exactly.
forcing your hand.
We're hitting, there's 52 headquartered companies here that are multinationals.
Got it.
And all of them should be doing something in our community.
So how do y'all get them to buy into Western Chic?
I
It's-
mean, it's
it's
a
lifestyle.
combination. One, they already love the West, right? Because they
Right.
think that that's them.
Yeah.
That's
We
what
just
Colorado
really-
is, right?
Exactly, right? So we're really just educating them on the part that they left out of the story.
It's been well received.
Are they?
though.
But are they?
No one's been
okay?
hating. We ain't felt.
People been
We haven't
wanting to
hated.
partner.
We haven't felt any shade.
But so
Not yet.
with that,
No, not yet.
so the things that you're doing, and specifically, I don't know if there's a correlation with you tapping into the, that upper class out in, Cherry Creek specifically. I don't know if that's like a part of it, of like, hey, making those connections in those type places to like rub elbows, or, try to think about what the plan is to force their hand or get in front of them with the plan of like, hey, no, start bringing those dollars into the Black community so that, everybody eats and, we can build from there.
The play on why connect and partner with, make our home base out of Cherry Creek was because that is well received amongst them, right? So they feel comfortable with you having your home base in Cherry Creek.
Got it.
They feel comfortable if your home base is at a membership club, right? So really it was just like, okay, y'all gonna be here anyway. Let's come there too. And let's
Absolutely.
bring our people with us.
But I just want to bring it back to. I just think what I'm trying to get a grips on is. I just really feel like there's this undercurrent of cowboy belongs to white culture.
Right, right.
How do we get over that hump to say, you know what? No, original cowboys were Black. We have this Western chic fashion movement that is ran by two African American entrepreneurs. And how do you get them to buy into that and actually get over that hump of not having ownership of something that they truly feel in their heart that is theirs?
Right. Well, that's the point. So doing business, getting out in front of these companies, we're saying, listen, we are giving you the opportunity to participate in a diversity and inclusion way. What are you doing? You're sponsoring events that we're throwing. You are sponsoring, putting your name on a docuseries that we're presenting that really tells the history. You're sponsoring a curriculum that's going into 3 levels of education. And you're sponsoring a permanent tabletop book that can go in all kinds of hotels. Every time you go to a hotel, what do you see there? What does our great state do? Well, now you get to say, what does our great state represent, right? So we're
Absolutely.
saying there's a method to getting this out there. The first step is saying, hey, our first step was kicking off and saying, hey, this is an event, this is what we represent. Let's start to tell these stories with these different artists, these different Mile High legends that we are calling Mile High legends because they've had some sort of impact in Colorado, right? Some sort of roots. They may have been born here. They may have gone to another state to become a mayor. I mean, many don't know how many Black mayors our little state has produced,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So it's like, let's get the education out there through creative ways. It's not as boring, right? Fashion is not boring. You know, everybody is doing some sort of, I mean, during this streaming, the 2020 COVID era kicked off, everybody watching something streaming related. So the hottest platforms, whatever we create, we're presenting that to Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, Peacock. Everybody under the sun is going to have an opportunity to get on this. We're even looking at PBS.
Yeah.
We're talking to them to see about doing something local as well. So there's lots of opportunities, and we're giving you a variety of ways to pick what resonates with you. The story's going to be told regardless if you jump on the bandwagon with it or not. What we are working towards are some companies are already early adopters and jumping on. A lot of people don't always want to be late to the party. Some people want to be early. Some people want to be on time. Those are late. They're still going to hear the story, whether they came on time or not.
And the Clayton Hotel has been
right?
the Clayton Hotel has been a good partner.
Yeah, the Clayton Hotel is a good partner because really we were just using Clayton as just a home base, right? So our focus with the Clayton is like, listen, like I told you guys before, I want to see. I've been hanging out in Cherry Creek. Chris been hanging out in Cherry Creek as long as we can remember. So now there's people that feel, our people don't always feel comfortable, don't feel like it works, right? Don't feel like the money spends the same when it really does. I mean, it's expensive everywhere. It's not just expensive in Cherry Creek. But really, the Clayton's mission was to have a diversity and inclusion initiative to bring a variety of people in the space so Cherry Creek could see that. All we're doing is upholding the standard that you created for yourself.
And you know what's so dope about that is like the two of you, because I see y'all on the gram. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing the good work of like volunteering, throwing parties, things like that. I could see the effort and the things that you have done for the Clayton, like that has made our people feel comfortable coming into those spots. You along with a group of other people, you know, it's not just you, but you're one of those main pushers and those trailblazers that have been doing that for a long time. And that's just dope, the way that you've been doing that. Kudos to you.
You're right. All our people, they be hitting up like, hey, I want to come through, put them on a list, you know, just making it feel comfortable, like they don't have to feel like they can't bring themselves to the space.
Yeah, because you put us in the plane when the block party came around, you know, and it was just like that. Like, It was no questions asked of like, you just, you know, we met with Joss Blake. Shout out to her. And yeah, you helped us out tremendously. So it goes a long way. It's not just talk. It's a lot of action in the things that you do. So I just want to give you a kudos for that. Like, both of you.
Yeah. So if you're looking for Western Chic, where do we find it?
Right now at chrischristmas.co. And we're going to be announcing our August collections coming out sometime in August with Rockmont. We'll update with you guys. We're putting a show together at the Clayton to launch the collection. And we think it's going to be a groundbreaking movement. We're also designing homes. So we're doing a home series of prefabricated homes with Western chic style design aesthetics to it. And so you're going to be seeing a series of homes that we're doing coming to multiple states. So we're really focusing on, you know, sustainability and what it looks like for the future of our communities. And that's kind of how we bring fashion and sustainability together. So we're really thinking about, you know, fashion is great. It's trend, it's style, it's everything. But a home is for the life.
Yeah.
You know, and teaching our people about home ownership and affordable housing and how to get a piece of the steak. I've owned a house in Park Hill since 1995, and wow, it was the best thing I ever did for myself.
Yeah, so it's beyond. So it's beyond just home decoration.
Huh?
It's beyond just home decor. Yeah. It is home decor, home ownership. How do I obtain a house, and how do I maintain it?
Yeah, we're in a partnership. So when you think about just how expensive Colorado is, one of our other partnerships is with a manufactured home builder, right? It's cheaper to buy a manufactured home But then we're saying, okay, you want to deck that home out. That's where we're bringing in the Colorado inclusiveness. We want all Colorado brands. So some brands have dual opportunities. Some brands, like, you don't make a product, right? So you could just say, I want to write a check and sponsor what this mission is. That's a way for them to get involved. Other companies could say, like a VF Corp could say, I want to see you can go to the design center and pick out designs that represent my product. That's a dual partnership, but you still are doing significant and substantial business with the Black-owned company, so we consider that diversity. But now you're still having our people and others as well, Black and brown, still can get in the market and buy, right? We don't want you tapped out. So we want to constantly do partnerships with people who create opportunities for you to still be in a respectable space, to be able to grow, right? To be able to be dignified and say, listen, I'm a part of this too. Let's get a piece of the pie as well. Yep. So we're still trying to keep that in a manageable space, and those are the partners we want to talk to, with people who want that same vision.
That is so dope. That is so dope.
Yeah.
So let's switch to the docuseries. I'm very interested in that.
Yes.
Like, is that in production now? Is it ready for releasing soon?
No, so this is what's being created with what we're doing, right? So when we kicked off the first event called the series, The Son of Colorado, that's a series.
Okay.
The first series of that was held at the Clayton December 8th. Right. And then with all of this being filmed, that's why we need our videographer and photographer in the space.
Shout out to Kay. I see him. Yeah. He came in here.
To be able to capture the event, right? The conversation. So there's several pieces to it. We got families that we're interviewing that have this long, rich history. We have all of these Mile High legends that still either can participate, not participate, but interview. Stories are going to be told regardless. The Cowboys. So all of this is the reason why we were holding these events at the Clayton, was to get all of this filmed so you can have the output of a docuseries.
Are we going to make it? Is this going to make it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, that's dope.
Yes,
Yeah.
footage.
It's going to be dope regardless. But
it is. It's all going to be part of it. So this is like, you guys are part of the story leading up to the output, and Chris's vision of his why goes back, right? When we first sat down, we were talking about like the fashion part, the history part, and the production of the Christmas Ranch. The Christmas Ranch is still on the table, right? That's just the production of, with him being foster child, having foster children, having a place to go where they have their own polo club. Everything is with a purpose. Even when we party is with a purpose. There ain't nothing we doing that doesn't have a purpose.
That's what I'm talking about. Look,
it's gonna be a party with It's gonna be a party with Western chic style there.
Absolutely. Every time you deck out. So you guys, you've seen some of the videos, like when people come out and they get proud and happy to do so. And it makes you even more when you say, how do we reach those 17-year-olds and some of those youngins? When they know what they're connected to, they don't mind putting on a hat with a dope T-shirt and some jeans. Like, it's their mixture with it. You could take one piece and be a part of.
Well, make sure you get the Hoochie Daddy shorts for my man right here.
Hoochie Daddy.
I gotta see him. I'm like, listen, Chris, I haven't seen him.
Hey, Hoochie Daddy shorts with the 10-gallon hat.
10 gallon.
12 gallon?
You're definitely from New Jersey, that's for sure.
12 gallon?
That's dope.
That sounds like naughty by nature.
Yeah, for real. In the 90s.
I used to know those dudes over in Jersey City.
Well, is there anything else you want to plug before before you want to get out of here?
I think shout outs to y'all for being trailblazers and wanting to have this in-depth conversation. Using this platform to elevate our community is incredibly important and needed and significant. And the questions have been, pointed and very strategic. I just think that for us, we as a community, and shout outs to JC, the family, and everybody that has hosted this for us, we got to come together as a community.
Exactly.
And that's really what this is about.
Exactly.
And we have to come multi-generationally. We have to come with a defined purpose that is stop the Denver haterism.
Exactly.
And I've called it the curse of the curse.
Yep.
And so since I was a kid growing up here, niggas hating Denver.
Yep.
And
Why
so
do they be hating, Chris?
it's a curse. It's just a curse. And so I said, we have to call a curse for what it is. It's a curse.
Yeah, it is.
And so we have to reprogram that mentality to say, stop hating.
Yep.
Right.
Because that is what stopped us as a community
Yep.
from advancing in this heart of East Denver, in this heart of Park Hill, in the heart of Green Valley and all this. And then all we do is cry foul.
Yep.
All we do is say foul, foul,
Yep.
foul, foul.
Yep. Yep.
And so I think we have a chance with this generation coming out of BLM that things have changed.
Yep.
And my generation is still super whack with how they like to be the only ones in the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't care about being the only one in the room. I don't want to be like, I was the only black guy in the room. Aren't I great?
No,
That I
absolutely.
hate being the only black guy in the room.
It's about building.
Right? I need to bring more black people in the
About
room.
building.
And then they hopefully are going to take over my space.
Exactly.
Because I'm always moving on to the next.
Exactly.
That's how it
So
goes.
it's like we have to be willing to bring more up than to be like, yo, bro, I got you, keep you on the shade level.
Yeah.
And so I think this generation, your generation, should do much more than mine.
Exactly.
And it can be done because you guys have technology. You have direct to consumer access. This is what this is.
Right.
You don't have someone stopping you.
We indie.
And all you got to do is just be driven.
We
Yep.
indie,
Yep.
yeah.
And you know,
What is it, Coach?
it's like you said, open up the doors,
Open up the doors.
shut down the haterism.
Shut
Right.
down the
I
haterism.
appreciate the double down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Support.
that's how we get Rest and Chic out to the
Rest and
world.
Chic
Something
out to
that
the world.
Colorado can
So we
connect
can
to.
connect
As
to
my
that
boy
shit.
double downs on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it, man. Hey, it's funny what happens when you support each other, right?
For
Yeah.
real.
Instead of wanting to be a single entity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he said something, I
when I'm
double
a pod,
down
you
on
should
it.
let
That
me
shit
get my
calls.
stuff off.
What's,
Like,
what's,
I'll let you get it
I'll let
off.
you.
Thank you.
Which let me get off.
Yo, so
Hey,
I
hey,
appreciate
hey,
y'all
hey,
coming on
hey,
the show.
hey,
Shout out
hey,
to Chris,
hey,
Christy,
hey,
and
hey.
Michelle Trail. Thank you for
This-
stopping by.
This dot is the James Cain show.
Yeah,
Timestamp that. I had to
this is
get
how
that
we-
off.
This is how we
Timestamp
quarrel a
that.
little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming to the
course,
show. It's
man.
been dope. A lot of gems have
Very
been dropped.
dope. Gems.
Yeah.
Cole, why don't you close this out?
Hey, if you stick to the familiar, what is it?
You never stumble upon the unexpected unless you change it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, man.
No, you never stumble upon the unexpected if you stick to the familiar. So go out there, learn your history, go out there and push, do everything you need to do in order to like flourish as a people, because that's what we need. You know what I mean? So
Quotes,
let's go.
comma, Killer James Cain.
This podcast was listening.